for people who were completely unfamiliar with how to do any of this. All right, after I've had quite a few requests of me to be extremely more in depth, and one commenter actually asked me if I could do a for Dummies video, I thought, you know, that sounds like a really good idea. Now, I do have multiple videos covering most of what I'm going to do in this video, but I thought, you know, for people that want to just get familiar with the whole procedure, I'll just make this one video and be way more in depth. So this is not for people that are familiar with the process. This is for people that really have no idea what it is. And we're gonna take our time. We're gonna go nice and slow, nice and easy. So grab a cup of coffee, or in my case, hot chocolate with pumpkin spice marshmallows, and relax. We're gonna try to do this nice and easy. The first thing we're going to start with are prerequisites. What do you need for this? You're going to need your headset, your Oculus Go, or your Oculus Quest. Okay. It's going to need to already be set up, so you're going to have to be already like attached to your account to it. You're going to need your mobile phone. We're going to have to use the Oculus app on your phone. You're going to need a Windows PC, and in this video we're going to use Windows 10. Now, I think that most of this works fine also with Windows 7, but you have to, I believe you have to install drivers for Windows 7. Now, I can't give you exact information for Windows 7 because I'm not running Windows 7, so I'm just doing this for Windows 10. I will put a link to a post on Reddit where somebody explained how they got it working on Windows 7. So, and as far as Mac goes, I've heard some people can do this on a Mac running Windows. I think it's called Parallels. Is that still a thing for Mac? But this, I'm not going to be trying to cover every single operating system. I've got Windows 10, so that's what we're going to be, this video is going to be focused on. Although the steps are probably very similar for the other operating systems. We're going to need a USB cable that corresponds to your device. So if you have an Oculus Go, you can use the charging cable that came with it. That will work. One end is USB type A. That's USB type A right there. And then this is micro USB. And this cable came with your Oculus Go. You're good, you can use that. On the Oculus Quest, this is not the cable that came with the Oculus Quest, but it has this type of connection to USB-C. This is USB-C. Now the cable that came with the Oculus Quest has USB-C on both ends. So if your computer has a USB-C connector on it, you can use that cable. If not, you'll have to get a cable that has USB-C on one end, cable that has USB-C on one end, and USB-A on the other. So this connects into your computer and this connects into your Oculus Quest. We're also going to need to get some software. We are going to use SideQuest for this. SideQuest is really straightforward, and just for sideloading from your computer, SideQuest works really well. So for just the real basic thing is we're going to use SideQuest. You need to install that, but you don't have to do it yet. Just follow along and we'll do it together. For Windows 7 people, you'll need to get the Oculus. You'll need to get the Oculus ADB drivers. Shouldn't be needed for Windows 10. I'm on Windows 10. Never had to install them. I think it's just for Windows 7. So for Windows 10 people, shouldn't be an issue. I will post a link in the video description. And I will also, for Windows 7 people, I will also post a link to the Reddit post where people are using this on Windows, connecting it fine with those drivers on Windows 7. All right, let's start our first lesson. All right, this is lesson number 1, entitled, What is Sideloading? And the goal of this lesson is, at the end of this lesson, you should understand the general concept and idea of sideloading. Learning the practical steps will be later in this video. We have to set some groundwork on understanding these ideas and terms first before we do the practical steps and learn the practical ways of doing this. So what does the term sideloading even mean? It's a good question. Sounds like you're loading something from the side. What does it mean? So when it comes to Android devices, the term sideloading means to install an app, an application or a program on your device in a way that doesn't use the official store for that device. So in this case, instead of installing an app through using the Oculus store either on the device or from your phone, it's installing it another way. Now technically sideloading, when we'll look at where the term came from here in a moment, but sideloading used to also mean, and in many cases still does, just transferring files to your device. It could mean transferring music files, video files, movie files, document files, just loading any kind of media files on your device. That's originally what the term meant, but now when it comes to Android, it's primarily used to mean installing an application without using the primary store of that device. Personally, I don't like the term sideloading. In fact, I've been sideloading onto my Android phones for many years, but I've just called it installing an application. And on the Android forums I've been on, nobody really calls it sideloading. It's only when I got the Oculus Go and that the term sideloading started being used a lot in that community. So I used the term because that's what they mean by it. So yeah. And here we'll go to this page on Wikipedia. I found it pretty easy. I found it pretty interesting. Sideloading is a term used mostly on the internet, similar to upload and download, but in reference to the process of transferring files between two local devices. In particular, between a computer and a mobile device such as a mobile phone, smartphone, PDA, tablet, portable media player, or e-reader. Sideloading typically refers to media file transfer to a mobile device via USB, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, or by writing to a memory card for insertion into the mobile device. When referring to Android apps, sideloading typically means installing an application package in APK format onto an Android device. Such packages are usually downloaded from websites other than Google Play, usually through a computer. For Android users, sideloading of apps is only possible if the user has allowed unknown sources in the security settings. So, and then we talk about iOS. I don't have an Apple phone. When referring to iOS apps, sideloading means installing an app in IPA format onto an Apple device, usually through the use of a computer such as Cydia Impactor, Xcode on the actual device using a jailbreak method or using a signing service instead of through Apple's App Store. On modern versions of iOS, the sources of the apps must be trusted. Yeah, I don't do Apple stuff. And Oculus Quest and the Oculus Go, they're running Android. So, all right, this is interesting. The term sideload was coined in the late 1990s by online storage service iDrive as an alternative means of transferring and storing computer files virtually instead of physically. In 2000, iDrive applied for a trademark of the term. Rather than initiating a traditional file download from a website or FTP site to their computer, a user can perform a sideload and have the file transferred directly into their personal storage area on the service. Usage of this feature began to decline as newer hard drives became cheaper and the space on them grew each year into gigabytes, and the trademark application was abandoned. So just think, if their trademark application wasn't abandoned, we probably wouldn't be using that term. And I don't really like the term sideload, but I've accepted it. As you can see, the term sideload was used for something completely different than installing applications, which right now, again, when it comes to Android, sideload means to install an application by bypassing the store. The advent of portable MP3 players in the late 1990s brought sideloading to the masses. Even if the term was not widely adopted, users would download content to their PCs and sideload it to their players. Today, sideloading is widespread and virtually every mobile device is capable of sideloading in one or more ways. What does it say for advantages? Sideloading has several advantages when compared with other ways of delivering content to mobile devices. There are no wireless data charges. Sideloading delivery does not involve a wireless carrier. Content can be See, this is all talking about like as far as media consumption, which is the original way this term was used, or for transferring media files. So here's a good one right here. Content that is removed from an online store for belatedly discovered licensing violations can still be loaded to a mobile device. Disadvantages, this comes to streaming media, sometimes preferred. Streaming media is sometimes, okay, that doesn't really apply to what we're doing because we're not using it in the form of media transfer. But again, for the umpteenth time, this originally meant to transfer media onto your device, not installing, which is what it means now for Android. All right, I will put a link in the video description to this page if anybody wants to read any of the references or any of the other things that I didn't read. I'm just not going to read the rest of this because it has to do with, mostly has to do with transferring media, which makes sense, right? Sideloading, that's what it sounds like. I really don't like terms that either don't sound like what they're used for, or they become used by people who don't know how to use the terms, and then they become technically redefined because people who didn't understand what they meant in the first place, now their ignorance has redefined the word, and it's become redefined by the ignorance of the masses. I find that super annoying. Don't even get me started about that. Okay, so to recap, this is lesson 1. What you should know now is sideloading. Sideloading is a way of installing an application in a way that doesn't use the official market for your device. So the Oculus Quest and Oculus Go, we're installing an application without going through the Oculus store. That's the basic idea of sideloading. Now we're going on to the next lesson. All right, lesson number 2. What files do you sideload? Okay, the goal of this lesson is, by the end of it, you should understand what file type it is that you sideload onto your Oculus Quest or your Oculus Go to install an application. Now, APK files are the files that you sideload onto your Oculus Go or your Oculus Quest. APK means Android package file. It has the extension .apk. Now, we're first going to go over how to sideload an APK onto your device, onto your Oculus Go or your Oculus Quest from your computer, and then, which is a lot easier than what I'm then going to show you, setting up your device to install sideload from within the device itself. And when you do that, when you click on the APK file using a file manager, you don't need to worry about this. We'll cover this later. I'll show you how to do this. But we haven't covered this yet. But when you click on the file from within your device, it opens up by what's called the package installer, and it will install the file on your device. It'll install the application. Think of an APK file the same way you think of a setup file for installing a program on Windows, or I guess on Mac. A Mac has a DMG files for setup files, I believe. So like if you want to install a program on your Windows machine, you find the setup file, you double click it, and it installs the program. That's basically what an APK does for Android, and in this case the Oculus Go and the Oculus Quest, because again, they are running Android. Another thing is you can sideload and install all kinds of APKs onto your device. Doesn't mean it's going to run correctly or run at all. So just because you can sideload it doesn't mean it's going to work the way you expect or even work. There's a lot of different versions of Android. There's a lot of different programs people write, and it may not even run, or it may run in a way that you don't expect. Very similar to how there's different versions of programs. There's programs for Windows 10, there's programs for Windows 7, Windows XP. You know, you probably can't run something for Windows 10 on Windows 7. You probably can't run Windows 3.1 software on anything at all anymore. I haven't really tried, maybe I'm wrong, but you get the idea. Also, the whole thing with sideloading and enabling unknown sources, they claim that it's a potential security risk. I don't really know of anything malicious that's happened to anybody by installing an application other than it can spy. I guess it can spy on you, like what you're doing. Like, I don't know to what extent, but for practical experiences, some apps can install just tons of ads, have a bunch of ads popping up, and so you want to be sure that when you're sideloading something, it's something that has a lot of reviews from reputable sources that aren't complaining about weird things that it's doing. So I personally think that the risk is low. It still exists. I'm not entirely sure what they all are, but just don't install anything willy-nilly. If it's from a reputable source, a reputable company, a reputable developer, then you're all right. But if it's some strange APK you found on some strange website, I definitely wouldn't trust it. Plus, also, I've seen some people will take an APK file, they'll mix their own malicious code into it. Maybe it's stuff that spies on whatever you're doing. And then they'll redistribute it on some strange website. So just get your APK files from a trusted source that have a trusted reputation. And here is a Wikipedia article on the APK files. Android package APK is the package file format used by the Android operating system for distribution and installation of mobile apps, mobile games, and middleware. I don't know what middleware is. APK is analogous to other software packages such as APKs in Microsoft Windows or a Debian package in Debian-based operating systems. To make an APK file, a program for Android is first compiled. Yeah, this is stuff that I don't care about, that you don't need to know. Just think of it like a setup file for Android. And why does that apply to your Oculus Go and your Oculus Quest for the 100th time? Because the Oculus Go and the Oculus Quest are running Android. All right, so now you should understand that an APK file is the file type that you sideload. All right, let's go to the next lesson. All right, this is lesson number 3, putting your device in developer mode, getting it ready for sideloading. Now, the goal of this lesson is that by the end of it, you should understand what developer mode is, know that it's required in order to sideload. You have to put your device in developer mode, know how to put your device in developer mode, and hopefully you followed along and have now put your device in developer mode by the time we're done with this lesson. Okay, as I just mentioned, before you're able to sideload anything onto the Oculus Quest or the Oculus Go, you have to put it in a special mode called developer mode, often referred to as dev mode for short. People usually just say dev mode. The idea behind dev mode, the idea is that you're a developer and you're developing applications, so you need to sideload the applications onto the device to test them for, like you're building an application and you're going to release it to the public. That's the idea. That's why it's called developer mode, like you're a developer. However, we're just going to use it to install whatever APKs we feel like installing. All right, you're going to ask, how do you do it? How do you put your device in developer mode? Good question. Now, I made a 60-second video and we're going to go through it right now. I'll go through it slower on how exactly to do this. So here is the video. I made this video for the Oculus Go, but it's exactly the same for the Oculus Quest.
Open your Oculus.
Okay, so you have to go to your phone, fire up the Oculus app, whether you have an iPhone or Android phone. Fire up the Oculus app.
Select Settings.
Go down to Settings, just like it shows. Go click on Settings.
Select your headset.
Your headset should show up. And so go ahead and click on it, and then it should connect to your device.
Set so that it connects.
Okay, there you go. Remember, this is something you already had to pair with your device. You needed to use this app in order to get your account on that device. That was one of the prerequisites I mentioned at the beginning.
Select on it.
So again, if you click on the little down arrow, you'll then go to more settings down below. You'll see more settings.
Again, bring down the menu and then click more settings. Click on developer.
Then you click on developer mode. And I highly recommend doing this from your phone. It's a lot easier.
Developer mode.
And you'll see it's off, and you'd hope that it could be as easy as just turning it on. Oculus has made it a little bit more cumbersome. Let's keep watching.
On the right, click it, touch it so that it turns it on, and it will bring you to a website. It will take.
Now it's going to take you to this website, and it's going to be like, oh, are you a developer? Then sign up and make your organization known. Which is quick, it's free, it's easy to do. It's just extra steps. I wish they didn't make you have to do this.
Take you to this website. Scroll down to where it says create a new organization.
Yeah, so you got to go, and you have to be logged in to the site. I think it'll ask you here on the next one.
organization, select the link. Go ahead and log in.
Yeah, log
and it
in.
will ask you,
What's the legal name of your organization? I don't know, whatever you want. Just, I don't know. People put whatever they want in there. Spaghetti, meatballs, whatever.
the name of your organization. Type in anything you want, and then click submit.
Then click submit, type in whatever you want, click submit.
Agree to the terms.
Gotta agree to the terms, whatever they say. I didn't read them. Make sure you read them first.
And that's it. Go back to your...
All right, so now you're done. So you go back and fire up after you click submit and agree to the terms. Go back to your Oculus app.
Oculus app.
Go back to settings. This is just like we did at the beginning of this lesson.
Settings. Select your Go.
Select your Go or your Quest. From there, wait till it connects.
Select more.
Click on more settings down below, like in the last here. Click on more settings. After it's already, green lit up here and it's connected.
Select more settings.
Click on developer mode.
Go to developer mode.
And this time you will be able to turn it on and not get prompted to create an organization.
Just go ahead and click on that and it will turn it on.
Okay.
And in a few seconds your Go will be in developer mode.
And now it should be in developer mode. Your Oculus Quest or your Oculus Go should now be in developer mode. And how you will know that it's in developer mode is that it might take a few seconds to show up, like maybe 30 seconds. You might have to restart your device if after a minute or two it doesn't show up. But how you know is when you go to your main library, there will be another category. You have like installed and not installed and updates and stuff like that. There'll be another category that says unknown sources. Now, this is different than unknown sources from Oculus TV. Oculus TV is an app that also has unknown sources regardless of whether or not you're in developer mode. I think it's regardless. Anyways, it's not related. So don't get the two confused. It's not the Oculus TV unknown sources. It's your library unknown sources. It'll show up there on the left. And that is how you know you are in developer mode. So once you see the unknown sources in your library, your device is in developer mode, and you're ready for the next lesson. Let's check it out. All right, guys, you should now have your Oculus Go or your Oculus Quest in developer mode. And this is now what lesson number is this? Lesson 4. Establishing a physical connection between your computer and your Oculus Quest or your Oculus Go. Now, I basically covered this on the prerequisites. You have to first have the appropriate cable, and I showed you what those cables look like in the prerequisites. Now, when you plug in your device, for example, the Oculus Go, we've got both connections here. The Oculus Go, you'll get a little chime. Now, anybody on Windows 10 should not need to install drivers, but here's a website where you can download and install drivers. I think Windows 7 people need them. I'm not going to do it because I don't need them. I will post a link to a Reddit post where somebody explains how to do it. So, sorry, this is for Windows 10. You're going to have to do some work if you're on Windows 7. You might not need them, though. You might try this without installing the drivers first. All right, now the Oculus Quest. And there it is. It shows the Oculus Quest, and it shows up fine. All right, so now at this point, you should know how to properly connect your device to your computer, and we can proceed to the next lesson. All right, by this time, you should have your device in developer mode and have it physically connected to your computer with a USB cable. And now we are on lesson number 5. And this is installing sideloading software on your computer. Also with the question, what is ADB? ADB is the software that your computer uses to communicate with any Android device, in this case your Quest or your Oculus Go. It is the underlying software. Now, it's a command line utility, but we're not going to use the command line. What we're going to do is we're going to use a GUI, a graphical user interface, that makes it super easy. Now, there's a couple of different ones out there, but one that's really made for the Quest and also works with the Go is called SideQuest. But before we check out SideQuest, let's look at this web page about ADB. All right, let's check out this page about ADB. It's Wikipedia. It's under Android software development. And down here it says Android Debug Bridge, or ADB for short. The Android Debug Bridge is a tool to run commands on a connected Android device. The ADB daemon, ADBD daemon, or Android Debug Bridge daemon, ADBD is Android Debug Bridge daemon, runs on the device, and the ADB client starts a background server to multiplex commands sent to devices. So the whole point of all this is that without ADB, there's no side loading from your computer. There's no communicating to your device in this method. Now, ADB is what we're going to use for side loading. I mean, we're going to use SideQuest, but it uses ADB. And there's no other way to do that as far as having a physical connection. ADB does a lot more than just side load things. It does so much more. But right now we're just using it for side loading, and that's the whole purpose of this. And most of what it can do, you don't need to worry about. In fact, you don't need to worry about anything else that it can do. But you can do like factory resets with it. You can reboot your device. You can, I think you can do factory resets with it. There are, let's see. Yeah, there's all kinds of things you can do with it. Here's a page from Android Studio. There are so many things, and I'm not going to cover them because it's not related to side loading, and you don't need to worry about them. And it can get pretty technical, and I probably only know about 1% of the things that it can do anyway. But if you really want to, you don't have to use SideQuest. You can just run ADB from the command prompt. I have some bat files that use ADB, so you just fire up the bat file and it acts as like a GUI. Or I've got bat files I've written where you can drag and drop a file and it'll automatically side load the file onto your device. I'm really big into writing bat files that you can just drag and drop files onto. I like doing that, but that's beyond the scope of this. We're just going to focus on using SideQuest. And I forgot to mention, but the goal of this lesson is that by the end of this lesson, you should understand the role of ADB in side loading. So we're going to go ahead and download SideQuest, sidequestvr.com, sidequestvr.com, click on Get SideQuest, and you can go ahead and click on Download SideQuest. I already have it downloaded and I already have it installed, but here's where you would go. Once you finish downloading it, just run it. And then it'll install. I guess it can install on top of itself. It can also update itself. All right, so you should have your device physically connected. I'll connect my Go. Because my Quest controllers are behind me and I don't feel like getting them. Okay, it's connected. And now just run SideQuest. And you see up in the corner? Now the first time you do this, you have to authorize the connection in your headset. So I'll go ahead and show a screenshot right now of what that's going to look like. This is what it'll look like. You'll see this sign, you'll see this notification in the headset. You have to click on Allow Always from this computer and then click on OK. And then up here in the upper left-hand corner, SideQuest will turn green. It means that you are successfully connected, and that only happens if it's in developer mode. So if you've got this far and you have a green light up here, you're good. Make sure you do authorize it in the headset. All right, now we're going to move on to actually using SideQuest. All right, guys, congratulations. This is lesson number 6. By now you should have your device physically connected, whether it's the Go or the Quest, physically connected to your computer with SideQuest running and a green device connection status, a green light showing that you're correctly connected. And now I'm going to show you how to actually sideload something by using SideQuest. Once you're at this point, there's an icon up here, install APK file from folder on computer. And this is what you would click on. You would navigate to the APK file. The APK file would be something you downloaded from a website, or yeah, I guess a website. It could be from GitHub, which is a pretty reputable site. I mean, for people who post projects on there. I mean, anybody can post on there, so still be careful. But you click on here. Navigate to the file you want to install. You can double click on it or just click on it and select open. Go over here, it shows something's happening, downloading APK, starting app install. See down here, all tasks completed. Let's try that again, that was kind of weird. Double click. Downloading APK. Okay, cool. APK file installed okay, we're good. And that's sideloading. If you've gotten this far, now you know how to sideload onto your Oculus Quest or your Oculus Go. Now, for Quest users, you can find a lot of applications using SideQuest because SideQuest isn't just like a GUI. SideQuest uses ADB, that's how it communicates in the background, but it's more than just doing that. It's also like a third-party market. So let's see, like, oh, this is like my favorite game right here, Pavlov. Such a great game. Most of the stuff on here is free, but not all. But there's a lot of cool stuff. I don't know if there's anything on here that's for the Oculus Go as far as applications from here, but that's another video, and that's a completely different subject. All right, so by now you should be able to sideload onto your device. Now, the next lesson is going to show you how you can actually sideload from within your device without a computer, if that's something you're interested in. If you're fine with just knowing how to do it like this, and you don't need to worry, you don't want to worry about doing it from the device without a computer, then you're good. But you know, if you're somewhere else, because you can download APK files in the headset. So if you're somewhere else and you want to install an APK file, I'm going to show you how to do it without using a computer. Now you do have to get it set up at first, but once you get it set up, it's good, and you can just do it from within the headset. All right, so for those of you who want to see how to do that, let's check it out. All right, you've made it to lesson number 7. In this lesson, what you're going to learn is how to set your device up so that you can sideload or install apps from within the device itself without using your computer. You do need your computer to set it up, but once you've set it up, you're good to go. So a couple of things we have to do. We have to enable unknown sources, installing from unknown sources in the security settings on the device. I know it's kind of confusing, right? Because you have unknown sources in Oculus TV, you now have unknown sources in your library. So what's this other one? Well, there's a setting that enables you to install APK files on your device. It's called unknown sources or allow unknown sources. I'll show you what it looks like. And by default, it is not enabled even though it's in developer mode. Now there's 2 ways to enable that. We can install an app that gives us access to those hidden Android settings, or we can run an ADB command to enable that setting, to switch that setting on. I'm going to show you both ways. If you have SideQuest open and you have your device connected to it, you got the green light up here. Just go over here to where it says run ADB commands and go to custom command and then type in this long command, right? It seems kind of complicated. What? It's a long command. You can do that. I'll put that in the video description. Click run command. Command completed. Now we'll be able to install APK files directly from our device. But how are you going to get to the APK files? You need a file manager. You need an Android file manager so you can navigate around the file system. So we have to sideload that. So let's also sideload the hidden settings app so I can show you how that will look. So we're just going to navigate to, let's see, we're going to do ES File Explorer. It's what I use. It was apparently kicked off the Google Play Market because they got kind of weird with stuff that they ended up doing. This is an older version and it works great. I use it all the time. So let's sideload this. Wait for it to finish here. All right, great. Now let's sideload the other file. Hidden set Android settings. Bam. All right. Now let me show you what this looks like. I'm going to show you both in the Oculus Go and the Oculus Quest. On the Oculus Go, all right, go ahead and go to Oculus TV. If you don't have it installed, install it, and then go to Oculus TV. And you will have ES File Explorer, and you will have hidden Android settings. Now let me show you what the hidden Android settings looks like. You click on that. You just go to Security. Allow installation of apps from unknown sources. Unknown sources. So that is on. And see, look, watch. I'll turn it off. Go back. And then you will go to SideQuest. We'll issue that command again. Custom command. Run command. Command completed. Now watch. Go back to security. Remember, we turned it off. And now it's on. So that turns it on and off, or you can just use this, sideload this APK to get you to the settings so that you can turn it on yourself. I'll show you what this looks like on the Oculus Quest. Okay, on the Oculus Quest, you just go to Oculus TV, go to channels. Now here are the hidden Android settings right here. Here's security. Here we go, allow from unknown sources. I already have it enabled. And then here is ES File Explorer. And that's what we're going to use to navigate to our APK. So let's say, what APK do we want to download? I'll show you how to do this. I'm going to fire up Oculus browser. And let's do, here's a good one, OVR VNC. This is like a free, it's kind of like a virtual desktop. It's a VNC client for Oculus Go. Works on the Oculus Quest as well. So, okay, we're going to download this APK right here. Boom, should be downloading. Okay, there we go. Can we do it? Can we open it from here? Let's see. Yeah, it won't let us. So we have to use the File Explorer, all right? Go back to TV, channels, ES File Explorer, navigate to download, and here we are, OVR VNC-release APK, click on it. We have the option to install it. Install. Oh, I guess I already have it installed. I'll just click on install. All right, and now it is installed on the Quest. Now, if what you have installed is a virtual reality application, like that one is a virtual reality application, a sideloaded one, you have to go, in order to properly launch it, you have to go home, go to your library, all apps, and then go down to unknown sources, and you'll find it here. I've got a ton of stuff. Some works, some doesn't. Okay, here we are, OVR VNC. And I click on it, and it's not going to work. Oh, well, it's going to fire up, but it's not going to actually connect because I don't have it running on my computer because my computer crashed and I had to reinstall everything. But this is an example of how you install something that you downloaded, and I will show you the exact same way to do this on the Oculus Go. All right, on the Oculus Go, same thing. Let's see. We're going to go to browser. Okay, I already pulled it up, OVR VNC. Clicking on it. Oh, okay, allow it to access the device. This is a cool. Oh, download complete. Right, I don't think we can open it from here. Yeah, so we have to go to the File Explorer. Click on here. Go to the folder, download, and click on it. Click on install. Asks you if you want to install it. Click on install again. Bam, it's installed. If you click open here, it won't work correctly because it will try to run it inside this two-dimensional Oculus TV app. It's a virtual reality application. Here, I'll show you what happens. See, yeah, it didn't work. But if we go to our library, we go to unknown sources, we can find it here, fire it up, and it should load. Oh, I know why. I don't have the settings. I don't have this. There's settings you're supposed to also create on the headset itself. So I'm not going to do that for this example, but had I done that, it would work just like you saw it on the Quest. And so that is how you install or sideload from within the device itself. Now that unknown sources enabled is always enabled now. Once you've enabled it, it stays enabled unless Oculus pushes out some kind of update that disables it and you have to re-enable it. So that's it. That concludes lesson 7. All right, congratulations. You are now officially a sideloader. You can sideload with your computer. You can sideload without your computer. Go and buy yourself a cup of coffee, another cup of coffee or something. I hopefully answered a lot of questions for people who were completely unfamiliar with how to do any of this. You guys are my target audience on this video. So if you have any other questions, let me know. I'm not sure how much information I left out that was pertinent to, I don't feel like I left out anything. So that you need to know to sideload. All right, so, but let me know. I'm sure somebody could come up with some question and I will definitely try to answer it. Even if it's in the video, I'll still try to answer it. I know this is a lot of information. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment. If you liked it, please leave a comment. If you didn't like it, I guess still leave a comment. And I will catch you guys later. I don't know how many people are going to like this kind of video. So I guess we'll see. Hopefully, I guess we'll find out. All right, catch you guys later. Bye.